You are writing a React component, again, use state, use effect, a few divs, some Tailwind classes. You Google a CSX flex property, you have already Googled 10 times. Then you copy paste an API fetch pattern from your last project. Then you spend 40 minutes on responsive layout that still breaks on mobile. Nobody talks about how much of front-end development is just repetition until Claude Code. I am Aravind, I am a front-end developer, and for the past few months, I have been exploring how Claude Code can fit into my day-to-day work. I'm going to show you a workflow where you stop writing boilerplate forever, where you describe a component and it appears, build to match your existing code base, where a browser error gets fixed before you even open Stack Overflow. This is specifically for the front-end developer, not build a startup in 5 minutes, not AI generic hype. React workflow. React, Tailwind, debugging, refactoring, testing, the stuff you do every single day. Let's get into it. Quick context before the workflows. Claude Code is Anthropic's agentic coding tool, not a chat window, not autocomplete. An agent, one that reads your entire project, writes and edits real files, runs command and iterate until the output is correct. The difference between Claude Code and GitHub Copilot. Copilot finishes your sentence, Claude Code finishes your future. Most Claude Code videos online are beginner's tutorial or generic walkthrough showing the basics. Today, we are covering 5 things. Building React component that matches your code base, solving CSS and Tailwind layouts in one prompt, debugging browser error without Googling, refactoring messy code using Claude.md files, writing test we are all skip. That Claude.md file, most developer skip it entirely. The biggest mistake you can make, we will get it there. First, setup. The thing most devs don't understand about Claude Code. Before you touch code, I want you to understand why Claude Code is different for front-end work. Most AI tools work with one file at a time. You paste the component, ask for changes, copy the output. You are still the middleman, that is still manual work. Claude Code works project level. Here's what I mean. Say you are building a dashboard page in your existing project. You have got a component folder, a style folder, and a Tailwind configuration. You open Claude Code in your project and say, hey, build me a user notification bell component which matches my existing design system. Claude Code reads your existing project. It sees how you name things. It sees how you structure the JSX files, and it reads your Tailwind configuration, and it builds something that fits into what you already have, not a generic template. That context awareness is everything. The more Claude Code knows about your project, the better every output gets. And I'm going to show you exactly how to maximize it. Open your terminal. You need Node.js, which you already have. Then type npm install -g Anthropic AI/Claude Code. Here is the one thing which I want you to do before you start. Navigate to your real project folder, because the power of Claude Code comes from reading your code, not blank files. Then launch it by typing Claude, then /login. It will give you 3 options. The first option is create an account with the monthly subscription Pro or Max plan. The second option is Anthropic console API key generation. The third option is you will get access from the other platforms. Here I'm going to use Anthropic console platform to generate an API key to access this. API key successfully generated and everything is set. Before you generate an API key, you need to have an account in console.anthropic.com. Once you log in successfully, you can navigate to get API key. First time that will redirect to credit balance page. You have to maintain minimum $5 in your credit balance to generate an API key. Make sure auto reload option is disabled by default. Once you have credit balance successfully, then you can generate an API key manually in this page. Here you can see a list of APIs which is generated from your terminal. Also you can generate manually. Now everything is set up. Let's talk about the 5 workflows, starting with the one that saves me the most time every single day. Workflow 1. Adding additional feature in the existing React component. Here is the whole process. First we will try to understand the existing React component, then write a few methods, few props, TypeScript types, then Tailwind classes. You know this routine. You have done it hundreds of times. Here is what I do. I just open the React existing dashboard page in my local machine. In the header, the notification component which is already exist, which has a list of notification. Each notification has a description, bell icon and a timestamp. Let's enhance it by adding a red badge count on top of that chat icon, which shows the unread notification count. Then let's add read and unread state for each notification. Unread one should have a background highlight. Once we click unread notification, the batch count should reduce. Then it has to mark it as read. Then we need to maintain the existing Tailwind styles and then existing component behavior. Let's ask Claude Code to enhance this component. Give some instructions. Notification component is already exist in the dashboard page, and Each notification has icon, description, and timestamp. I would like to enhance it by adding the red batch count for unread notifications on the chat icon at the top. Each notification should have read, unread state. Unread one should have background highlight, and once clicking the unread notification should reduce the unread batch count and then mark it as read. Use the existing Tailwind classes and component behavior and styles. It's done. Now I could see the batch count at the top, then read and unread notifications. All three notifications are unread now. And the unread notification has the background highlight. And once I click the unread notification, the count is reducing. Then the background highlight is not there for the read notifications. Once I click the second one, the count reduced to 1. Simple. And let's see how it made the component changes. I could see the changes in this drop-down notification JSX file. It includes the list of notifications, then read and unread count state. One good thing, if you see, it is having by default the matching behavior with the other component. We didn't mention anywhere in the instruction the background color should be violet, but automatically it matches the already existing behavior with the other components. Notice what I did there. I didn't just mention write a component. I just mention match with the existing behavior. That instruction changes everything. Give Claude Code context about your project and it will not give generic output. The next workflow is one which I never expected to love as much as I do. Workflow 2, CSS and Tailwind. You know that moment you are trying to stick something to the bottom of a container, trying to create a responsive 3-column grid which collapses correctly, or a sticky header that overlap your content, and you are there Googling, inspecting, adjusting, again Googling, and horror disappears. Here is the new way. Let's add a responsive KPI grid section to show the metrics in dashboard page between the header and the sales cards. Let me describe the layout structure in Claude Code. Create a responsive KPI summary grid section in the dashboard main page between the header and the existing sales card. It should have 4 cards in a row on desktop, 2 cards on tablet, 1 card on mobile. Each card should contain the icon, metrics, name, a value, and the percentage change indicator, green for positive and red for negative. Use these 4 metrics: total revenue, active users, new order, and conversion rate. Use the existing Tailwind classes and card styles. It's processing the instructions. It's done. The moment I refresh the page, I could see the KPI summary grid sections, which is added newly. Let me inspect and test in other devices. Let me choose the mobile phone resolution. It has only 1 card in each row. If I choose the responsive tablet resolution, then there are 2 cards. This is what we describe in the Claude Code. And one more interesting thing I would like to show you. There is a dark mode theme, which is in the header. If you click it, automatically the grid KPI section, which is also adaptable for this theme, but we didn't mention in the description. This is what Claude Code adapting automatically the existing behavior of the application. CSS variables, dark mode, animation keyframes, things that took 30 minutes of trial and error, describe once and build in seconds. The biggest unlock for CSS, describe the problem, not the solution. Don't say add display flex, justify center. Say center this element horizontally and vertically in its parent. Let Claude Code figure out the implementation, because sometimes what it writes is cleaner than what we are going to write anyway. Quick pass. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I post specifically for front-end developers figuring out AI workflows and more things coming up. Subscribe, then let's keep going. Because the next workflow might be the one you use every single day. Workflow 3. Debugging browser errors. Real scenario. When you refresh the page, if we see the error message in the console, for example, a circular reference error or cannot read property of undefined or any CSS layout errors, immediately we used to open the Stack Overflow and read the answers from 2018. Nowadays, we are asking AI chat window about that particular error. Even in chat window, whatever it is suggesting, we need to try manually in the code. The dashboard page, the notification component, when unread notification count, it reaches 1, it is throwing undefined error in the console. Cannot read property of undefined incoming. In the code, I know these kind of undefined errors, we can easily navigate and fix it. But some kind of errors like circular reference, it might take more time to debug and fix it. Here is the exact line which causes the error. Let's not fix it. Let's ask Claude Code to fix it. Facing undefined error incoming in notification component. Fix it. Then fix is applied. Now when I refresh the page, now when I reach the unread count 1, I'm not seeing that error. It finds the root cause where exactly that undefined is coming from and it fixes that. This is huge for front-end developers because so many bugs are mostly runtime bugs. Things that only appears in the browser, things that autocomplete tools can never catch because they only see what you're typing. Claude Code sees the whole code base. TypeScript errors, even better, TypeScript errors are precise. Claude Code finds the exact type mismatch, fixes it, then it checks if the fix creates any downstream problem. It's like pairing with a senior developer who reads your code before responding. But all of this get 10x better when you set up one specific file, but most of the developers completely skip it. Workflow 4. Refactoring and Claude.md setup. In your project root folder, create a file called Claude.md. This is your instructions file. Claude Code reads it at the start of every session. It's your way of saying, here is my stack, here are my conventions, here are the rules you follow no matter what. We can create Claude.md file manually, or there is one more way. We can ask in the terminal /init automatically. It starts analyzing your project structure, package.json file and other configuration files, and it takes 2 to 3 minutes to generate automatically the Claude.md file by its own. Here is what my Claude.md file looks like. It is generated by /init command. In the Claude.md file, I could see what is the entry point and routing, layout structure, dark mode and theming details, and what is the Tailwind configurations and Chart.js related informations, and then utility related information, what kind of utility files is available in the project. In the Claude.md file, we can add our own conventions. Let me add a few sample convention rules. Never use inline style, always use Tailwind classes. Then all new components should support dark mode. Component naming convention should be Pascal case. Then always use optional chaining when accessing nested object properties. Now let's refactor the existing React component. Let's take dropdown notification.jsx file. It has everything in a single file. Managing state, rendering UI, and some business logic. Let's refactor by following the single responsibility principle. I'm going to give instruction in the terminal. Refactoring the dropdown notification.jsx. It is having too many things. Managing state, rendering UI, some business logics. Split it by following the single responsibility principle. Maintain the same behavior and style. Follow the same Tailwind classes. Refactoring is done. It has generated a few new files. Each file is single responsibility now. Notification data.js only owns shape and initial value of notification data. Use dropdown manages only dropdown visibility and DOM event listener. So the parent dropdown notification JSX file composes the above file and no logic lives here. Let's check in the browser. When I click the notification component, the behavior is same. While refactoring, it considered the custom conventions what we have mentioned in Claude.md file. It created the file name in same naming convention. It didn't create in any inline styles. Anyway, by default, it supports dark mode. And finally, optional chaining. When you use static data, Claude Code is not considering that convention. We have to test it in actual API response. The final workflow, the one we always avoid. Workflow 5, writing tests. Let's be real. Tests are the thing most of the front-end developer push to the end of the sprint or skip it. Sometimes, few test cases just to say we did something. Claude Code makes testing genuinely enjoyable. Let's point to a particular component, notification item.jsx, and say, write comprehensive test cases, cover read notifications, unread notification scenarios, batch count display, red dot batch displays only for unread notifications, use vi test and react testing library, create file at source / components / notification item dot test.jsx. If there is no test configuration, first it will do the setup and it will install the required node modules. Then it will write the test cases. It took some time to install the required node modules and the configuration setup. I could see 21 tests are executed successfully. Whatever we ask in the instruction, all the scenarios are covered here. Content rendering, unread state, read state, batch count display, batch after marking read, everything is covered. For a developer who ships real products, this means your test coverage goes up, your confidence in refactoring goes up. Alright, let's put this all together. Here is what your day looks like after you adapt these 5 workflows. You start a new feature, you describe the component how you want, Claude Code reads your Claude.md file and reads your code base and build the component in your style. You review it, one follow-up message if needed, then ship it. You hit a bug, you paste the error, Claude Code traces it through your actual code and finds the root cause, fixes it, you move on. You have a messy component that needs cleaning up. Claude Code refactors your component by following your convention. You don't need to spend a sprint on technical depth. You are ready to ship. Claude Code writes the test that covers what your code actually does. The gap between senior developer and everyone else used to be experience, the ability to hold an entire code base in your head, the pattern recognition to debug fast. Claude Code narrows the gap, not because it replaces your judgment, but because it handles the mechanical part, so your judgment is all that's left. Start with one workflow today, just one. Pick component generation, set up your Claude.md file on your actual stack, try one prompt on a real component, then come back and tell me what happened. If this helped, please subscribe. I post specifically for the front-end developer adapting to AI workflow. No fluff, real workflow you can use today. And drop a comment which of these 5 workflows are you trying first. I read every single one. See you in the next video.